Download my free legato course right now and learn to play fast in the fastest way possible. It's 4 core exercises that you need to focus on in order to reach the highest level of mastery. And then I'm going to give you the 3 sub-skills of legato. Once you master these 3 little skills, then the overall skill of playing very fast runs using hammer-ons and pull-offs will be very easy. So go sign up right now and get immediate access for free. See you in the course. Soloing. One of the huge breakthroughs for me was when I figured out a way of going from being able to play licks, on top of some music, and then to actually play a solo that sounded like it was pre-composed. And what I discovered was an exercise that will make that happen. And I should say that before the exercise, I could play a lot of licks, whatever, and I had some techniques down. But it was like, whenever it was my turn to play a solo, I was playing, and then I got surprised when it was over. You know that feeling? So like you're playing, and then suddenly, whoa, the music stops, or the singer starts singing, because now it's time for the verse again, right? And if that is your experience, this will totally fix it, and it will make you go from sounding like an amateur to sounding like an absolute pro, no matter what your skill level is, almost. When it comes to techniques and scales, and you can use the simplest tools, but if you can do this, you can sound like a pro. So what is it? Well, I suddenly discovered that one thing is the notes, another thing is the music and the chords, but there's a timing to stuff, right? If you listen to this track, it's easily explained by listening to it. It's loops. Everything is loops. We got chordal loops. We got everything repeating itself all the time. On the big level, we got a verse and a bridge and a chorus, and then a verse and a bridge and a chorus, and then perhaps a solo, and then a verse and a bridge. And, everything is loops and repetitions. And if you just listen to the chord progression here, we got one chord there, and then another here, and then it repeats itself again. Same chord and new chord. But on top of that little loop, we also have a bigger loop. We have 2 small loops, and those 2 small loops make up a big loop. So please listen. And listen to the piano. And then again, from the top. But that is the second loop. And now, the second loop starts of the big ones, right? So we got 2 small loops, and those 2 is kind of a period in and of themselves. I've got a problem here. No, I don't. It just, my little piece of software here just crashed for some reason. Let me see if, yeah, it's back again. Oh, okay. So we got these still 2 loops. And the first thing you need to focus on is the music. Because this whole discipline is about placing enough focus on the music to actually be able to play with the music. And that's like driving a stick-shift car. In the beginning, you have to drive very slowly because you have to focus on each little part of it. But then gradually, all that mechanics becomes unconscious. And then you can focus on where you want to go, what's happening in the traffic, and all of this with the hands and the feet is just happening automatically. The same thing needs to happen here. You need to be able to play through these loops and feel these loops when you play, without you even thinking about it. But the way to get there is to put almost all of your focus there in the beginning. And as you do that and make it your primary rule to follow these little periods in the music, and the notes you play are secondary. Once you do that enough, then gradually you can begin to play more and more complex stuff. So in the beginning, I could play something like, to really show. I'm playing the same thing. New loop. But I should say in the beginning, I played stuff like this. It was saying. had to go that simple in order for me to be able to follow along with the periods in the music. And then gradually, I promise you, if you do that, it just happens automatically that you start playing more and more complex stuff until the very point where it doesn't. Just start playing whatever, and everything fits into what you're playing, and you sound like a pro suddenly. Then the next level comes where it's so automatic in your body, these periods, so you can even leave them. You can play something that's totally out of the time signature, and then go right back to it. Now you're having fun, because now you're actually playing music instead of trying to fire off licks on top of something, right? I hope you got the whole. Let me just recap. Number one rule when you do this practice session is that you stop just playing over something. Instead, you focus on the music, you focus on the loops in the music, the little ones and the big ones and the even bigger ones, and you follow them so you know exactly where you are. And secondary is the note. So you play one note in the beginning. Find one note that fits all chords, right? And then gradually you can play more and more. And don't slip into the trap of beginning to just play whatever again, because that's not practicing. That's just having fun. And you can have fun, of course, but this is the most fun. And I promise you, if you do this every day, 2 or 3 weeks from now, you'll begin to have a totally different feeling when you play solo of actually playing something that makes sense. And the sense I'm talking about is that you have sentences, you have, you have words, right? Which is just, that's a word, right? You have sentences. But those sentences make up stories that fit the music, that has structure. It's the most amazing thing, and this exercise is so simple, but you have to do it, and you have to focus solely almost on the music until it's easy to play a little bit more complex, and then you're just out in the open, and playing solos will never be the same. Almost forgot to tell you that this realization is one out of many that I got when I was studying Stevie Ray Vaughan and the blues. And suddenly I realized that the blues is a fantastic training ground for learning soloing in any style. So I basically developed a lot of exercises that took me from that place where you play stuff over music to being absolutely sounding like a pro, sounding together, being able to just fire off a solo from nothing, right? You hear a track and you just start playing and it sounds like, did you practice that beforehand? But you didn't. You're just able to speak music. And that was what I learned, and so you should go check out that program. It's called the Power Blues Skill Builder, and it has all of these key exercises and realizations in it that will take you from that place of confusion to having so much fun when you solo.